right, so this is intended to be a, we're going to start with basically what is a routed run, how does it work, and what are the basic mechanics you do to move through a route. And then we're going to do a full walkthrough of the route over explained, so that you can hopefully recreate those steps and do your own runs later. So the things you need, and I'll provide links for these. Either someone can put them in the chat, or I'll provide links for these in the video when I upload this. The things you'll need to get started are you'll need a copy of the route notes, which is easy. You'll need the routing mod pack is most helpful to get started. You can see I have it installed right now. I've got this stuff in the top right corner talking about the RNG. And you'll also want a save state manager, the Hades save manager that Museus wrote. It's available on the Speedrun resources website. And then, but I'll make sure all that stuff is linked. That lets you move through different save states. You can practice chambers over and over again, etc. So without further ado, we're just going to go ahead and get started. So basically the idea of a route is, to go through, is to do a seed, an RNG seeded run. In some roguelike games, starting a seed lets you pretty much get an identical experience all the way through. That's not the case in Hades, because the way that room generation works in Hades, if we just go through a room or two here, you can see the difference, right? So we have that starting seed, and we still have that same starting seed here, 588, 384. But all that starting seed dictates is what the first reward is going to be, in this case, a hammer. What's going to be in it, in this case, these 3 hammers. The starting enemy is sort of determined by the seed. We can get back to that. And then the rewards on the doors are also decided by the seed. And specifically, what rooms are behind the doors are decided by the seed. What isn't decided by the seed are anything past that point. So even like what boons are going to be available on that Poseidon are not decided by this room's seed and the starting seed for the whole thing, right? So when I go through here, it uses that the RNG seed you see up there, and it does some math with that, and it also uses the number of times you've used the random number generator, which you can see below it. That's also known as the offset. It combines those in a function, and out comes a new seed. So it combined those two, and here we got 19217356, right? And so that seed again is defining what chaos tile is behind here, what tile is behind here, what reward is going to be behind here, and also what's in this room, what's in the Poseidon boon in this room. So when we clear all the enemies, we'll pop open the Poseidon boon and we'll see that this is what was prescribed at that point. So pretty straightforward there. But that's basically how room generation works in Hades. Is it uses, as soon as you go through the door, it puts those two things together to make the seed in the next one. There's a little more complication in terms of what order it does stuff in and when certain things happen. That creates some nuance in the route, but for just running the route as is, it's not too bad. When you're trying to debug it and figure out what's wrong with it and troubleshoot it, that knowledge is useful, but you really don't need it to just run the route, right? So next, let's go through the basic cycle of each room, and then we'll go through a couple rooms just to kind of highlight it. So this is your basic room flow. It's this simple with a big asterisk on it, because it's never really that simple, because there's always things that happen afterwards. So the first thing you do is you do the room, right? In every room except Sisyphus, Tartarus Midshop, and Chamber 1, you just go in and you do whatever you need to do in that room for the most part. So if there's combat, you do your combat. If there is a event, like a story room or something, you do that. And you do whatever for the doors to unlock. Now, when the doors unlock, the RNG offset resets to 0. So all the RNG you accumulated during that, or that was called during that room, is null and void, basically, once you take the reward and the doors open. So just to see an example of that, we'll go into this next room here. So you can see the RNG uses are blowing up, because everything we do, like the enemy behavior, the particle effects, everything is causing random calls. And so we ended at 338 basically. And then it resets once when it creates the reward. And so now we're up to 7. And then you can see it reset back down again. And now we're up to 6 here. And so this 6 is where we're working from with that. So anything we did in the room doesn't matter, right? I could go and do this room again, do things completely differently. We'd still end up at that 6. Now there are a few things that will impact. Oh, here, we'll go back to the other thing first. So you do that, and then the next thing you do is you stop there. You observe your immediate aftermath. You know, sometimes there's stuff that depends on voice lines. It depends on your health amount. It depends on if there's a well shop, what the rewards are, if there's a chaos gate. That stuff is usually contained in the route notes. If we look at the notes, there's stuff like this. You know, this one's a normal one. Maybe just make this a little bigger. Go a little way. I want it to be bigger. There we go. Some of this stuff is like, you know, summon 9 times if less than 50 health, or 8 times if greater than health. Enter chaos. And so those are the things you look out for. It's just some things to consider. And so then you perform your RNG manipulation and any other actions based on that situation. So once we're in this setting, right, the RNG is stable. There's nothing in almost every combat room that when you're just moving around or just waiting is going to call RNG, because like all these candles are just normal, I guess. Like there's no particle effects. These shades are stationary and they have preset animation routines. So there's no randomness being called here. And so you can manipulate it. And you can say, okay, if I know that, if we say this was Poseidon on the door, if I know that I'm going to get like an epic Razor Shoals, if I, oh, I'm on the notes, thanks. So if I'm going to get an, we can, yeah, so you can see, again, RNG is not incrementing. But like if I know I'm going to get an epic Razor Shoals, if I like leave at RNG, let's say 20, and I want to get to 20, I have a few different options for what I can do. The things you want to look out for and be careful not to do is things like smashing pots. If I smash this pot and that candle, that just moves us from 6 to 8. And I smash these 3, this will move us to 11 or 10, right? And this stuff is also kind of unpredictable. Like I guess there was a second pot hiding there we couldn't see. You know, causing rubble to fall does it. Activating traps does it. And so we don't want to do that stuff. So the consistent things you can do are things that Zag does without interacting with the environment. Those things are casting. Casting increments by 1, you can see there, and summoning, which also increments by 1 because it does a, in both these cases, it does a roll to see if it like plays a voice line, basically. In the summons case, the first time you use it in every room, you will get a voice line, almost always, with certain exceptions.
Can't do that.
And so you can see we went up 2 there. So your first summon's usually 2. Then after that, everyone goes up 1. And so these are your main methods of controlling your RNG as you move through the rooms, right? Is, okay, we got to 70. Let's say we wanted 70. Then we can go into the next one. So we do the same thing. We go through combat. Don't care a single thing about what we're doing. Just want to do it as fast as possible. All right, we're back to 4. And we're into, and we get to 7. So let's say we know we'll get attack if we go, like an epic attack if we go to like RNG 10. So the notes would say 2 summons, because the first summon with the voice would be 1, plus the voice line's another 1. Second summon will take us to 10. And then we go through. You'll notice that going through doors, you'll sometimes increment to 11. The route notes are very specific. They say that, hey, when you're at the door, this is what you'll see, because the behavior is usually consistent after that. All right, so no reason to actually show this because I don't actually know that it's going to be epic attack, but I think you kind of get the point with that. So those are the things that increment RNG. So now I'm going to load a save state and we'll go through a couple of simple rooms. And then we will, and review the notes from the route, and then we will do a chunk through of the route, I think. So let's do some stuff in Elysium, maybe. Tartarus can be pretty tricky. So we're going to do... Yeah, Elysium is pretty straightforward. So here we are. We walk into Elysium. You can see we've hit RNG uses 9, and we're stable there. The next step is to go to the Chaos Gate. So we go and we check the notes. So looking at the notes, let's go find the chamber that we're in. Okay, here we are in Elysium. Let's make it a little bigger. So in this case, we want to open the codex. The instructions here are open the codex in the Zeus Boon menu, page up and down 7 times, page down, close, and enter chaos. And we see we want to leave on, we want to enter the Chaos Gate at 81, and the last thing we see should be 84. So let's go back here. And so the codex is a new tech that I hadn't seen before this route. But so moving around the codex, this doesn't cause any RNG calls, but when you're in a boon menu, and you go from this page down to this page, we can see our RNG increased by a lot. So that was up and down 9 times, which is too many, actually. So now we're at 94, which put us 1 over, if I'm remembering right. This put a bunch over, actually. So we'll load that up again, just because I got thrown off by explaining it. But this is just another way to increment the RNG. The codex is a very comfortable way to do it, because you can, as per speedrunning rules, you can only do it in rooms where the timer is already paused. So they're usually pretty relaxed rooms. So 5, 6, and 7. And then we go down 1 more time. We can see we're at 81. So we go in, that room's been resolved. The mod pack has a nice thing where it tells you if you're en route or not. So it'll let you know as soon as you fall off, and also how many increments you were over or behind. So let's take a look at the notes for this room. It says we're going to take Enshrouded Shot. Oops, the wrong source. It says we're going to take Enshrouded Shot and summon 7 times. That's it. We want to end at 14 and exit at 15. So we're going to dash over here as quick as we can. I need a hotkey to switch these scenes.
In the name of Hades.
Take Enshrouded Shot. We go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There you can see we're at 14. And we go through. Okay, now for this next room, we go back to the notes. And we see that this one is kill spears and butterfly balls, buy Light of Ixion, summon 3 times, and take the top right door. And so we'll see a small permutation in here that I'll show kind of how we do troubleshooting and how we adjust some of these route notes. So first, we just clear the room. Thankfully, I am off it. So you're just missing some combat. Not a big deal.
A curse of chaos has expired.
So we take it. We're at 7. We open it. Buy the Ixion. Close it. Summon 1, 2, 3. And we're at 20. And if we look back at the notes, we're supposed to be at an 18. So we're supposed to be at 18, so I know something went wrong here. So we load up the save state and try again. This is how you start to work through these issues, basically. So let's see, we're trying to do this as fast as possible. So we take this, we open it, buy that, close it. It should only be 2 summons now. And since you see now I'm seeing things. Now I see that it's like, okay, we want to get to 18. We're at 16. That's only 1 summon, actually. And then go through the door. And then we're en route. So there's weird permutations like that. Not sure what's going on with that specific room, but you can see how we kind of adjust what we're doing based on that, at least. let's do that room one more time.
One's rearming. I got from chaos has a new effect.
Okay, so this is something I ran into, right? So when we opened this well, we were at 12. We opened it so quickly that the voice lines usually increment RNG. The voice line for when Zagreus said, my chaos boon has a new effect, it finished while we were on the screen, and the RNG uses went from 12 to 14. So now when we buy this, now we're at 16. And so in this case, we know that we can just summon once, like we just did, and go through and we'll be on route. But you can't, because you can't have this up during. You can't always be certain, like, okay, did I open it up soon enough to increment it? Did I not? So you have two options there. You can either wing it and just say, okay, like, this is probably the one, or you can do a safety strategy. And the safety strategy in this case is reopening a well resets your RNG to 12, and then we know it's
Not yet.
5 increments to go to the next room. So let's talk a little bit about shops now. So most shops, except for Tartarus Midshop, are not too complicated. The main issue you deal with is Charon groaning, right? So I'm standing right here, the door unlocked, we're at 7. If I just go straight to the door, then we're still at 7. But if I need to buy anything in the shop or go to the shop, and I go near Charon and he groans, you can say we're up. We can see we're up at 10 now. So this room has 2 different strategies. And so if we look at the route notes, we can see that this room has 2 different strategies. Right, so we're going to dash to the left door. We're going to summon 4 times if we avoid the Charon groan, or cast once if we get it. Oops. And so then we have a couple of options there, right? Because we can do basically like this. Cast and go in. Or we can just go straight there and maybe summon on our way over. Or we can summon when we get there, right? You're trying to figure out what route is going to make the most sense for you, is going to be consistent, and still get you the numbers that you need. So because I'm always kind of dicey about Charon increments and when they actually happen, I prefer to just go through this way.
I can't.
I'm supposed to get to 12. So I actually ended up with 1 too many there, so I probably summoned once too many, because I was trying to do it too quickly, so it's a little less safe, but I think it's faster.
I can't.
Marley's off by 1. Kind of weird. So then we can do the safe one. Then we're at 11. We go through. And we're on route again.
No one's here.
Oh, because I'm loading in the shop, that's right. Yeah, there's also wonkiness with save states. If you're having issues, generally just load a combat room and you'll be fine. Or the room before. This one's also simple. This one's just a single cast. And then go in, because we only needed to increment by 1.
Master Chaos has evolved.
Then we're in Patroclus. We take the jerky. And this is a 12 summon, and go in this door.
Not here. Mother of all soul
Yeah,
catchers.
so that is, I think that's a pretty decent overview of the main stuff. Next thing we're going to do is go over Chamber 1, and we're going to go over the Tartarus Midshop and Sisyphus, because those are the 3 variants. Basically, those are the 3 things where behaviors get a little strange, and you need to, and understanding it, I think, helps. So we're going to use this live split here. Let's make it a little bigger. Just a nice timer. So if we look at the route notes for Chamber 1, we can see it start counting when Zag lands before you have control. So as soon as he impacts the ground, you start counting. Dash to the hammer, pick it up as soon as you can, because you want to spend, because we need to wait till 5 seconds have passed, basically, here from when we've hit the ground. And on the count of 5, we take the charge shot. We take the hammer. And so we can use this timer to track it a little bit.
Well, time to go get killed again.
But first, we'll do it once, and then we'll illustrate why.
All set.
And 5. Then we kill it as fast as we can, and we go through.
No way.
Okay, I hit an extra time on the door there. So we were off by 1. No, still on notes. Good. Good thing I messed it up then. Thank you.
Well, time to go get killed again.
Yeah, I'm getting there. Don't worry. So the first time I did this, first couple times I did this, I watched the timer. Okay, we're off route there, but that's basically what you're doing. It doesn't need to be perfect every time. But so you that example, we'll do another couple times while I'm explaining what you do from there. So once you get a feel for the timing of it, or once you know what the timing is, you can start to look around at the other things happening. Like my personal strategy is to use the music and find a spot in the music where 5 seconds hits and hit on that every time. Yeah, I actually used the music that time instead of watching the number, and we ended up on route. Vareem likes to wait until the Tartarus banner starts to fade away. You can really do anything that you want. So let's talk about why Chamber 1 is like this.
Time to go get killed again. All set.
So these shades, some of them are moving, right? Yeah, they're making little motions. They move. Yeah, they're moving around, and you can see the RNG is going through the roof right now. It keeps incrementing, keeps incrementing. These shades are moving in predictable ways based on the seed and how you move through them, but it's not something that we really want to manipulate because it's very difficult. And also walking through them, you can see it's incrementing the RNG as well. So we want to avoid that as well as possible. Now, of course, we do have times where it's resetting, right? Because when we take this, the RNG resets again,
I'm done.
and when we get the doors open, you can see it resets again to 8. But at that point, it continues to increment, right? And so we want to be able to have, the time. Basically, what you're concerned about is the number of increments that the shades create between when the door unlocks and you get to it and open it. So to do that, we want to have everything be as consistent as possible because the shades don't stop moving when you take the hammer. They don't stop moving. They don't change what they're doing. So you want to hit all the same beats at the same time. Taking the hammer doesn't matter. You want to get there as fast as possible. The timing of killing this and then the timing of getting to the door after killing the enemies is the most important part. And eventually you get a feel for it, and then you kind of end up here. It's purely timing based. So like Vareem is saying, you can look for certain things, you can target certain things, or you can use a timer, you can wing it. It's something that you learn and you figure out how to do, basically. And so you either know if you're on with the on route, or Chamber 2 will usually have the wrong enemies if you've messed it up. So next we are going to do Sisyphus. Yeah, we'll do Sisyphus next because that the Bouldy room, because that is pretty simple. And it's the same concept, basically. So you'll see that in Bouldy's room with Sisyphus, we have the same shades, and we can see the RNG is still incrementing. So in this case, the timer is paused though, so we have some luxury here. We can scare them away. And if you scare them away, they don't return for some time. I think they do eventually return. They like walk outside, come back, weird stuff, right? So we're at a pretty random RNG usage right now, but then we can talk to Sisyphus, reset it, and then be on consistent ground, right? So that's why we do this behavior here. You can also take a Bouldy boon here because it doesn't affect the RNG. It's going to be effectively random. This is like that's not part of the route. It could be, if you figure it out what you want. But then we take the money, and then we reset back to 9. And then we follow the manips in this room, which is a single summon. And then we do the codex, and we do 7 up and down. Go through, and that's all there is. So.
Thank you, mate.
Got pissed that time. And so finally, in terms of the problem rooms, so to speak, that are consistent in every route, because every route has, you know, unique issues, but the ones that are most consistent are this Sisyphus Chamber 1 and Tartarus Midshop. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the room before Tartarus Midshop because it loading right into the shop messes with the offsets. Thankfully, this fountain room doesn't have any manips. So we just go in, take the palm, go in. And so, you know, we see the same shades here, right? So they're moving around, they're incrementing RNG in predictable fashions, the same way each time. And we do have access to an RNG reset here. It's an interesting quirk where even though the door is already unlocked, when you buy the boon, it resets. And when you take the boon, it resets. And I forget if it was something specific to those boons or what. And so your normal mid-shop strategy will include something like consistently getting to the boon as fast as possible, then waiting in here for a certain musical cue or a certain amount of time, dashing as fast as you can, and then doing some manips. And so that is like the normal strategy, and I got it that time, which I'm actually surprised about because I had to time it. I had to time multiple things. I had to time getting to the boon. I had to time getting away from the boom. I had to time the summons and the exiting of the door. And that's usually what mid-shop looks like. It's not impossible to get consistent. Like, I haven't done that strategy in a while, and I still got it on the first try. But it's annoying to learn, frustrating, and waste some time. Thankfully, Vareem has found us a very nice system where we just dodge the increments entirely. Buy it, pause it, let the music play, doesn't matter. Ooh, that's the wrong boon. That's probably gonna be wrong, but yeah, it was the wrong boon, so we'll ignore that one.
Fates are being kind, I guess.
But we have a nice, comfy going here. Cast 3 times, dash over there. Works pretty much every time. So that's the basics of, you know, route running, how you approach each room, how you troubleshoot some of the stuff with the mods. What you do is you go through this again and again until you feel comfortable enough to take the mods off, to stop making adjustments, and then you go through. Because again, it's very easy to get started. You just need like the save state pack, and you need the mod pack and the save state manager, and you're pretty much, you know, good to go.